what if balloons couldn't pop or deflate? Chris, what do you have for this one?
Yeah, so when I was thinking about this question, the first thing that came to mind was just the image of, like, a person accidentally letting go of a balloon and flying up into the sky. And you're like, oh, what happens to that balloon? Usually, they float up, and since, like, higher altitudes are less, the air is less dense, the balloon expands and it pops. But since they can't pop, it's just going to keep on going up. But eventually, the density in the balloon and the density of the air is going to equal the same amount. And it's just going to stop. So it's going to stop, like, just in the sky somewhere. And I found out that this is going to be, like, somewhere between 20 and 30 miles into the air. It depends on, like, the weight of the balloon. But that's in the stratosphere. So I was like, okay, so the balloons will stop in the atmosphere.
Okay.
And you'll have, like, cool, like, balloon clouds, I guess.
Yeah, there's going to be, like, there's probably going to be a bunch of balloons.
Yeah, so it'll be cool at first, but eventually they're going to build up. And the problem in my head was, is it going to be too much that it's going to eventually block out the sun?
Our balloons will block out the sun.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I looked at the diameter of the Earth, and then I, like, added the 30 miles to that to figure out the surface area that the balloons would take up. And it turns out that you'd have 200 million balloons in order to completely surround the Earth. That's how much it would take.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
That's assuming...
That's not a lot.
Yeah. That was assuming that each balloon was, like, 1 square foot in diameter. Wait, 1 square foot in diameter.
1 foot in diameter?
1 foot in diameter.
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of, like, hyperdimensional balloons are you working with?
Yeah, units get weird.
I got this new thing. It's called the Indestructible Tesseract balloon.
It's a balloon that also goes through time.
It's a balloon that goes through time and inflates itself.
So, okay, 200 million balloons. We don't want to get to that, but I was like, how long would it take to get to that? So I started to look at, like, how often people let go of balloons. There are, like, organized releases of balloons for, like, events and stuff. So, like, for an example, the 1984 Summer Olympics, they had a balloon release where they released a bunch of balloons. In 1985, Disneyland released 1.2 million balloons. That was to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Disneyland. And then in 1986, I think this is the biggest one, in Cleveland for Balloon Fest, they released 1.5 million balloons.
Didn't they have a whole lot of problems with that Balloon Fest? I remember reading about that.
Yeah, I remember seeing, like, a news report on it, and there was, like, all sorts of pollution problems and stuff.
It was just, like, their harbor, like, the wind shifted of where, like, they were supposed to all come back down, like, somewhere. And then the wind shifted.
They all, like, went into the water somewhere, I think.
Yeah, and then all landed in the ocean. The entire bay was just all balloon shreds.
Yeah. It's actually interesting. All three of these events were organized by one guy. I guess he's, like, the balloon guy. He's, like, known to be the balloon guy. Treb Henning.
I mean, there just can't be that many people that put on 1 million balloon shows. Like,
well, he works with, like, the Super Bowl. He does presidential conventions, stuff like that.
Yeah, like, you can't, like, go up to your local balloon store and, like, your local party city and be like, yeah, I'm looking for a bunch of balloons. And they're like, okay, how many do you need? And you're like,
1 million.
1 million. 1 million balloons, please. And they're like, what? And you're like, 1 million balloons,
well,
please.
I think at this point, I think he, like, has his own balloon company, so he wouldn't be going to the store to buy balloons.
Well, I'm saying, you as a person, if you wanted to go and purchase 1 million balloons, you would have you'd have to find this guy because no one else is going to be like, okay, yeah, 1 million balloons, I can do that.
You need someone with a very particular set of skills.
Apparently, he can inflate and tie 1,000 balloons in an hour. This one guy. So
that's an incredibly sad fact to have about you.
Yeah, I know.
That's not manually, though, right?
That's, I think, well, I don't know if
I would imagine it's with, like, compressed air or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that's with compressed air, because I think there's some issues with the volume of your lungs first.
This dude has the craziest lungs you have ever seen. He had his lungs surgically replaced with canisters of helium.
His voice is super high.
It's amazing.
So I figured these, like, organized balloon releases would be outlawed if balloons wouldn't pop, just because of this whole blackout the sun thing.
Wait, that implies there would totally be rebels who would do it just to, like, piss off the government, right? That's like a form of protest.
I guess so.
Yes. I love these balloon rebel ideas.
Would releasing like one balloon be a crime?
Well, I mean, I think just the mass balloon release would be outlawed. But, like, people all the time, they accidentally release balloons, right? Just like, oops, I let go. And I wanted to see how often that happens. And that statistic was very hard to find. But I did find something that I can sort of correlate to it, kind of. So I found out that 3.38% of all people with phones accidentally drop their phones. So I'm going to say those people would accidentally let go of a balloon if they had a balloon in their hand.
Okay, fair enough.
So, okay, I have a percentage of people that drop balloons. Now, how many people actually have balloons? I looked at the annual report for Party City, which is just one store that sells balloons. There are obviously other ones, but this is a pretty big one. And in 2015, they sold $74 million worth of balloons.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a fun spreadsheet.
So I went to the Party City website just to find out how much each balloon costs. I found a 15-pack for $3 and a 72-pack for $8. So I averaged them out, and I said that each balloon costs 15 cents. So $74 million worth of that would be 493 million balloons per year are sold.
Wow.
So I'm gonna say that's how many people have balloons in a year. So if you apply the 3.38% to that, 16.7 million people would accidentally let go of a balloon every year. So with that number, we would reach the 200 million balloon limit in 12 years, which that's enough time to like plan ahead and try to come up with a way to prevent this. So we'd want to like clear away the balloons somehow, just like every few years go up there and like take them down. I think you guys didn't mention it, but we said that you could purposefully deflate them if you want. You could like untie it and deflate it.
Right.
Yeah, I think you have to fiddle with it and untie it. I think it has to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you can't just pop it. You have to deflate it. So I started looking at things that could get up that high into the atmosphere, and there really aren't that many things unless you want to use like a spaceship, but I don't think a spaceship would be very useful. So the highest commercial plane ever in history was the Concorde, and that got up to 13 miles in the air. The highest military plane is the SR-71 Blackbird, and that got 16 miles into the air. So neither of those are going to work. We want to get like 20, 30 miles into the air. That's our range. But then I was thinking, the balloon's already up there. They got up there somehow. So why don't we just use balloons to get up there?
Yeah, hot air balloons.
Yeah, there are certain balloons that they have used to get up to like that range of altitude. So in 2014, Alan Eustace, he was a senior vice president at Google. He used a balloon to skydive, because he wanted to do like the highest skydive ever and break that record. So he used a balloon to go up to 25.7 miles into the air. And that was a helium balloon. So we could use that balloon to get up to the other balloons, and you could deflate them. And then that was the highest manned balloon. The highest unmanned balloon was in 2002. It's the BU-60-1 balloon. And it was made from like a polyethylene film that was 3.4 micrometers thick.
Wow.
What?
And it was 2 million cubic feet in volume.
What?
Yeah.
Those like numbers like don't even make sense to my brain.
I know. And this one reached up to 32.9 miles into the air. So that's like the very upper limit of our range. So that's perfect. We can reach, I mean, that's an unmanned balloon. So we'd have to like figure something out to actually get someone onto that balloon. But I feel like this would just be a one-man job. Like one person would go up in a balloon and manually untie every single balloon and then just like drop the deflated balloon, I guess.
I got 2 words for you, Chris.
What?
Space blimp.
I mean, is that possible?
Well, if balloons can get at least that high, those are filled with regular air. So if you fill it with hydrogen, well, yeah, you can do hydrogen because it's not gonna. I guess it's still flammable, huh? So go with helium. It's not that big a difference.
I mean, that balloon I listed was the highest unmanned balloon we've ever made. So I don't know if we could get much higher.
Yeah, but there wasn't really a need to go that high with balloons until now. Like, once we have a need to get up there, we're going to make a space blimp, and it's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, we'll get up there somehow.
I mean, you got to remember, Marcus, blimping ain't easy. I've heard that before. That was my one dumb joke for the episode.